Have you ever wondered what lies beyond the clouds? Beyond the distant horizon, where the sky touches the edge of the earth, there exists a world few have seen, a place untouched by time, hidden just beyond the reach of our tallest mountains. It's a world where giants walk with footsteps that shake the very heavens, their colossal forms hidden in the mist, their eyes gleaming with secrets older than the stars. Here, fairies don't just dance on the breeze. They weave stories in the wind, crafting tales of magic, mystery, and forgotten dreams. Tonight, we will journey to this world above, where the air is thick with enchantment, and the ground trembles with every step of the giants. But there's a catch, of course. This world isn't meant for humans, not for you, not for anyone from the land below. The moment you step into it, the world you know will begin to unravel. And in this place, nothing is ever quite what it seems. Are you ready to see it? Ready to cross the boundary between what is and what could be? If you are, then listen closely. The sky is about to open, and a hidden path will reveal itself, just for you. Take a slow, deep breath in. Let it fill your lungs all the way down, as if you're breathing in the soft, cool night air that flows through the trees. Hold it for just a moment, and then slowly release it, letting go of everything from the day. Let your shoulders soften. Feel the weight of the world slip away with each exhale. Picture yourself standing in the midst of a quiet meadow, bathed in the silver light of the moon. The grass beneath your feet is soft and cool, the earth rich with the scent of wildflowers. A gentle breeze stirs through the leaves of the towering trees that surround you, the sound of rustling branches as soothing as a lullaby. You can feel the breeze brushing against your skin, delicate as a whisper, carrying with it the sweet fragrance of distant blossoms. In the distance, you can hear the soft murmur of a stream, its waters winding over smooth stones. Gentle and unhurried, every sound here seems to belong to another world, one where time moves slower, and all that matters is peace. As you stand there, feel the weight of your body soften, each muscle unwinding, every tension melting away. Your body becomes light, and your mind clears, leaving only the calmness of the night. Above you, the stars are like jewels scattered across the deep velvet sky. They seem closer here, as if you could reach up and pluck them from the heavens. The sky itself feels alive, as though it holds secrets, stories waiting to be told. And now, imagine a path opening up before you, gentle and inviting, winding its way toward the horizon. There's something mesmerizing about this path, something that calls you forward. You take one step, then another, feeling the soft earth beneath your feet, each step carrying you further from the world you know, and deeper into the night. Let your mind drift as you follow this path. Your footsteps light and soundless, blend in with the soft symphony of the world around you. The air seems to hum with magic, as if something extraordinary is waiting just beyond your reach, hidden in the mists of the world above. The path winds upward, leading you higher and higher. At first, the journey feels slow, almost lazy, as if time itself is stretching out to give you more of this peaceful moment. The stars grow brighter, and the air becomes fresher, more fragrant, as if you've stepped into a place where everything is in its perfect balance. Your heart beats with a quiet excitement, but there's no rush. You don't need to hurry. The world around you moves at its own pace, slow, deliberate, and full of wonder. As you continue to climb, the trees thin out, their towering forms replaced by smaller, more delicate ones, their branches stretching toward the sky as though they, too, are trying to reach the stars. You feel sudden warmth as the path opens up into a wide clearing, and there, standing before you in the soft moonlight, is a figure you could never have imagined. A giant, but not the kind of giant from old legends, with thunderous footsteps and rage in their eyes. No, this one is different. His eyes are kind, glimmering like the night sky itself, and his massive frame is draped in robes made of the very clouds that float lazily through the heavens. His presence is imposing, yet gentle, as if he carries the weight of the world with the greatest care. He doesn't speak at first. Instead, he simply gazes down at you, his large hand outstretched, a warm smile on his face. "Welcome," he says, his voice low and resonant, like the distant rumble of thunder. "You're far from home, but not too far." You feel a thrill of wonder, mixed with a sense of awe. You've heard stories, of course. Who hasn't? Tales of giants who live in the sky, of fairies who weave the threads of the world. But now, standing before one, you realize this is no mere story. It's real. The giant looks at you with an understanding in his eyes, as if he knows why you're here. "Come," he says, his voice pulling you forward. "There's someone I want you to meet." And with that, the giant begins to move, his enormous footsteps soft but sure, guiding you toward the edge of the clearing. As you follow, the world around you shifts again. The trees fade, the grass becomes softer, and in the distance, you hear the faintest sound of music, soft, delicate, like the fluttering of wings. The air grows even lighter, as if the very atmosphere here is made of dreams. And that's when you see her, a fairy, hovering just above the ground, her wings shimmering like moonlight on water. She looks at you with eyes that seem to hold the universe, full of mysteries you've yet to understand. There's something about her, a pull, a connection, that feels as though your very soul recognizes her. The giant stands beside you, waiting, and the fairy smiles gently, her voice as soft as the breeze. "You've come far, haven't you?" she asks, her tone playful yet knowing. But the journey is just beginning. You stand there, entranced, the world around you feeling both incredibly vast and deeply intimate. The night stretches on, and you sense something shifting, something vast, just on the edge of your awareness. You wonder, what is it that you've truly stumbled upon here? And what is it that the giant and the fairy want to show you? Just as you begin to take a step forward, the wind stirs, and a distant rumble of thunder echoes through the sky. Something is coming, something that could change everything. The wind picks up again, a cool gust that dances around you like a playful spirit. The fairy's wings shimmer with the wind's touch, flickering like starlight. Her eyes meet yours, and for a moment, the world seems to hold its breath. The giant beside you remains silent, his massive form a comforting presence, his calmness reassuring. Something stirs in the clouds, the fairy says softly, her voice barely more than a whisper, but it carries an undeniable weight. She turns her head towards the distant horizon, her gaze filled with something ancient. It's not often that humans find their way up here, and when they do, it's never by accident. You feel a strange mix of excitement and uncertainty wash over you, like standing on the edge of a great unknown. The giant's deep eyes flicker towards the fairy, his expression unreadable, but there's a tension there, something unspoken. The fairy continues, her voice now carrying a hint of gravity. There's a reason you've come. But reasons are tricky things, aren't they? They shift like the wind, and soon you'll have to decide which path you want to follow. The giant steps forward, his large hand reaching out to touch your shoulder, his touch surprisingly gentle. Fear not, he rumbles, his voice deep and resonant, like the earth itself. This is the world above. We walk the skies, and we protect what remains. But there are things, forces, we cannot control, and one of them is about to awaken. The fairy flits closer, her wings beating softly in the air. She hovers just out of reach, and her face softens as she looks at you, an almost melancholic expression passing across her features. The world above is not just a place, she murmurs. It is a balance, a delicate thread woven through time, and you are part of it now. Your heart stirs, caught between the awe of the moment and the gentle pull of something darker, something unknown. The fairy's gaze lingers for a moment longer, and then, with a flick of her wings, she turns toward the horizon. The giant follows, his immense step steady as the two of them lead you further into the shifting landscape. The air grows thicker here, the mists swirling as if drawn by an unseen force. The path ahead of you is no longer the same. Where once there were flowers and soft grass beneath your feet, now the earth is covered in shimmering stones that seem to pulse with an inner glow, casting a faint, eerie light that dances like stars beneath your feet. As you walk, you feel the weight of something ancient in the air. The wind, once so soft and inviting, now carries a sense of urgency, a quiet pressure that settles in your chest. The fairy's movements are graceful, her wings fluttering in the air, as though she is weaving the very fabric of this world with every beat. The giant walks with purpose, his stride long and deliberate, yet his eyes are constantly searching, as if expecting something or someone. Who is it? You ask softly, almost unsure whether you should break the quiet tension that has settled between the three of you. Who is coming? The giant turns his gaze toward you, and for a moment you think you see something flicker in his eyes. Something dark, something heavy. He looks away, focusing on the mist ahead. There are forces in the world above that we cannot foresee, he says, his voice low, a rumble like distant thunder. Forces that have lain dormant for centuries, but when they stir, it is never quiet. The fairy, still floating lightly above the ground, lets out a soft sigh. The guardians of the cloudlands have been silent for too long, and now they are waking. Her voice carries an edge of fear, though she tries to mask it with a smile. You might think of them as protectors, but not all protectors are benevolent. The weight of her words hangs in the air as you continue walking, the mist growing denser around you. Every step feels heavier now, as if the land itself is watching, waiting for something to happen. As you move deeper into the shifting mists, you see something in the distance. It's faint at first, a flicker of light, then more, until a landscape around you begins to take shape. A towering structure emerges from the fog, its spires reaching into the sky like jagged teeth, glowing softly in the twilight. This is where the path divides, the fairy says quietly, her wings still fluttering with an ethereal grace. Where the worlds meet, the giant's face darkens as he gazes up at the structure. This is the Temple of the Forgotten. He rumbles, his voice laced with caution. It is said to be a place of great power, lost to time, forgotten by most. but it is not a place for the faint of heart. You step closer, feeling the pull of the place, the air charged with an unknown energy. It feels as if the very structure is alive, breathing in sync with the world around it. The mist seems to part as you approach, revealing a vast courtyard before the temple, where the air is thick with ancient magic. Why have we come here? You ask, your voice barely above a whisper, as if speaking too loudly might break the fragile tension. The giant glances down at you, his eyes softening, though a hint of sadness remains. Because you have a choice, he says quietly, a choice that could shape the future of the world above and the world below. As you look around, the ground beneath you shudders, and the faintest tremor runs through the air. The fairy's wings flutter nervously, and the giant's expression hardens. Something is coming. The distant rumble of thunder grows louder, and the clouds overhead darken, swirling in ominous patterns. The wind howls, pulling at your clothes as if urging you forward. And then, just as the world seems to hold its breath, a figure steps from the shadows of the temple, tall, cloaked in mist, with eyes that gleam like stars. It's a giant, though not the same as the one beside you. This one's eyes glow with an unnatural light, and his presence is unsettling. He looks at you, and for a moment, you feel as though he can see straight into your soul. The fairy's wings tremble. The guardians have awoken, she whispers, and they are not happy to see you. The figure before you stands tall, impossibly tall, cloaked in a swirling mist that seems to move of its own accord. His eyes, no, they aren't simply eyes. They are pools of starlight, endless and unfathomable, shining with a cold, distant light that sends a chill down your spine. The air around him crackles with ancient power, and the very earth seems to quiver beneath his presence. For a moment, everything's still. You don't know if you should move, speak, or simply hold your breath, hoping that whatever this being is will not notice you. But it's too late. The guardian has seen you. The giant beside you steps forward, his massive body blocking you from the guardian's gaze. But there's a tension in his stance, something he's trying to hold back. You should not have come here, the guardian says, his voice resonating through the ground beneath you, deep and echoing like the sound of a storm far away. His words are calm, but there's an unmistakable sense of power in them, an authority that demands both respect and fear. The fairy hovers close to you, her wings fluttering nervously. This is not a place for humans, she says softly, her voice trembling. The guardians of the Cloudlands do not take kindly to those who wander where they do not belong. The giant turns to you then, his face softening with a rare sorrow. The world above is a fragile balance, he says, his voice low, his hand resting gently on your shoulder. You've entered a world of ancient magic and forgotten histories. The guardians, like the one before you, are its keepers, and they are not easily persuaded. The guardian's eyes never leave you, the cold starlight of his gaze piercing into your soul. You are part of a prophecy, he says, his voice like ice, though the hint of something darker lingers. But your place here has not yet been decided. The balance is delicate, and your arrival. He pauses, the air thickening with unspoken words. Your arrival could tip the scales. Please, the fairy whispers, her voice breaking slightly. We've come too far. We cannot turn back now. The guardian's lips curl into something that might have been a smile, but it was not one of kindness. Turning back is no longer an option, he says. The path you've chosen has already been set into motion. Now, you must choose. Will you stand with the guardians of the Cloudlands, or will you defy us? The air grows colder still, and the mist that surrounds the temple begins to pulse, its movement growing faster and more erratic. The sound of distant thunder grows louder, shaking the ground beneath your feet. You feel a low vibration deep in your chest, as if the world itself is holding its breath, waiting for something to happen. You glance at the giant beside you, whose eyes have narrowed, his brows furrowed with the weight of whatever decision you're about to make. There's a quiet sadness in his gaze, as if he knows the path ahead is fraught with danger. And yet, despite the peril, you can sense something else, a deep, unspoken hope that perhaps, just perhaps, you might change the course of what's to come. Choose, the guardian repeats, his voice a whisper now, like the wind rustling through the trees. But know this, there are consequences. The world above is ancient, its magic older than time itself. Your choices may save it, or destroy it. The fairy's wings flutter anxiously. You must understand, she urges. The guardians are not just protectors. They are ancient, bound by laws that are older than the stars themselves. But they are also bound by something else, something that even they cannot control. The giant steps forward, placing a hand on the temple's stone walls, his fingers brushing against the surface as if trying to feel the pulse of something hidden beneath it. The Cloudlands are alive, he murmurs, alive in ways that even the guardians do not understand. The mist swirls around you, thickening, pressing in closer. The figure of the guardian stands tall in front of you, an immovable force, his eyes now burning with a fierce, cold fire. The time for questioning has passed, the guardian says. The time for action is now. Suddenly, the earth trembles beneath your feet. The temple itself seems to groan, as if it's awakening from a long slumber. The very sky above you darkens, swirling with an unnatural energy, clouds gathering and twisting into shapes that seem to shift with intent. It feels as though the world is pulling itself together, a storm building just beyond the horizon. The giant moves quickly, his hand clasping yours with surprising strength, pulling you forward. We must go, he says urgently. The guardians are awakening, and if we don't leave now, the path we've chosen will be sealed. You hesitate, torn between the fear of the unknown and the growing sense that this moment, this choice, could change everything. The fairy hovers beside you, her wings vibrating with anxiety. You don't have to choose them, she says, her voice desperate. You don't have to follow the guardian's path, but we must go now. The ground beneath you shakes harder, and the guardian's voice rings out, more powerful than ever. You cannot escape your fate. Not now. Not ever. But just as you begin to move, a low growl erupts from deep within the temple, a sound that seems to echo from the very heart of the Cloudlands. The guardian's eyes widen for a fraction of a second, just enough to show a glimmer of something you hadn't expected. Fear. There is no more time, the giant says urgently. You must come with us, now. As you begin to run, the very air around you shifts, the mist closing in tighter, the dark figure of the guardian looming behind you. But before you can take another step, a sudden flash of light bursts from the temple. It blinds you for a split second, and when your vision clears, you see something that makes your heart stop. A shadow, darker than night itself, is rising from the heart of the temple. It is massive, its form shifting and writhing as if it is made of smoke and stars, and it's coming for you. The fairy gasps, her wings flapping wildly as she darts toward you. "We must hurry," she cries, her voice laced with panic. "It's awakening. It's too late to run." The giant grabs your hand tighter, pulling you forward, but you can feel the ground trembling with the weight of the shadow. And you know, whatever it is, it's not something you can outrun. You glance back one last time, and you see the guardian, his expression now filled with something else. Regret, perhaps, or fear, as the shadow rises to claim the land. The moment you take another step, everything changes. The ground trembles beneath you, the earth itself seeming to groan under the weight of the shadow that is now fully risen from the heart of the temple. It looms before you, a towering figure of darkness that pulses with a cold, unsettling energy. It shifts in and out of focus, like a living storm, its form too large and too strange to fully comprehend. It's like nothing you've ever seen, something born of nightmares, made of swirling shadows and flickering starlight, as though the very fabric of the sky has been torn apart. The fairy gasps, her wings fluttering erratically as she tries to find her balance in the thickening air. "It's too late," she whispers, her voice barely audible above the rumbling of the earth. "We cannot outrun it. The shadow has awakened." You feel a cold, icy dread rising in your chest. The giant, still holding your hand firmly, looks at you with an expression you can't quite read. There's something fierce in his eyes, but also a deep sorrow, a sense of inevitability, as though this moment was always meant to be, no matter how hard they tried to prevent it. "We must face it," the giant says, his voice a low rumble, filled with quiet strength. "There is no other choice now. If we do not, it will consume the cloudlands and everything beyond it." Your heart pounds in your chest. You've known fear before, but never like this. The presence of the shadow is unlike anything you can understand. It seems to pulse in time with your heartbeat, as if it feeds on fear and uncertainty. The very air around you feels heavier, like it's pressing down on your lungs, making it hard to breathe. "What is it?" you manage to ask, your voice trembling. "What is the shadow?" The giant's gaze flickers to the fairy, his eyes softening for a brief moment before he answers. "It is an ancient force, one older than the cloudlands themselves. The guardians were meant to keep it at bay, but in their arrogance, they believed they could control it. Now, it has broken free, and it will stop at nothing to reclaim this world." You take in a shaky breath, trying to steady yourself, but the shadow before you grows more tangible with every passing second, its dark tendrils reaching out like fingers, stretching toward you with an almost malicious intent. You feel the pull of it, the heavy weight of its gaze locking onto you. It is aware of you, and it is hungry. "You cannot fight it alone," the fairy says, a voice trembling now, her wings fluttering nervously behind her. She glances back at the giant, then at you. "We will have to work together. The cloudlands are made of magic, magic that can only be wielded when we are united, the three of us." The giant nods slowly, but his eyes remain focused on the growing shadow. "It is a risk," he says, his voice filled with an unspoken gravity, "but it is the only way. If we do not stand together now, the shadow will swallow us whole." You can feel the weight of his words pressing against your chest, the realization settling in that you're standing on the edge of something monumental. This is no longer just a journey to a mysterious world. This is a battle for its very survival. And in some way, your fate has already been written into the threads of this world's magic. The shadow stirs again, its massive, shifting form pulsing like a heartbeat. It draws closer, its tendrils reaching out, brushing against the edges of your consciousness, filling your mind with whispers that you can't quite understand. Dark, twisted thoughts that crawl into your mind like insects. I can feel it, the fairy whispers. It's trying to get inside us, to confuse us. The giant's voice cuts through the darkness. We must hold firm. The shadow feeds on fear, on doubt. We cannot let it twist our thoughts. We have to resist. You take a deep breath, trying to center yourself. This is real. The shadow is real. But so are the giant and the fairy, and they are with you. Together, maybe, just maybe, you can stand against the darkness. You glance at the giant, then the fairy, and find a spark of determination rising inside you. You may be afraid, but you will not let fear consume you. Not now. Not when there's so much to lose. What do we do? You ask, your voice steady, though your heart races. The fairy's wings flutter once more, a shimmer of resolve lighting up her eyes. We have to reach the heart of the cloudlands, she says urgently. It's the only place where the power to banish the shadow can be found, but it is hidden, protected by the guardian's magic. The giant steps forward, his enormous form casting a long shadow of its own. He reaches out with one hand, placing it gently on the temple's stone surface. The heart lies deep within the cloudlands, but we cannot get to it without first confronting the guardian who stands watch over it. The guardian? You repeat, confusion rising in your chest. But I thought the guardians were protectors. Are we supposed to fight him? The fairy shakes her head quickly. Not fight, but we must convince him to let us through. The guardians are bound by ancient oaths, but in times of great need, they are bound to listen. If we can reach the heart, we may have a chance to stop the shadow before it consumes everything. The air hums with tension, and the ground shakes again, louder this time. The shadow is moving closer, its form stretching across the sky like a growing storm, threatening to engulf everything in its path. You can feel it drawing nearer, closer to the point of no return. You must be ready, the giant says, turning to face you. This is a trial of your heart. The shadow cannot be defeated with strength alone. We must rely on the magic that binds us together. The heart will test us. The fairy's wings flicker in the air, a soft glow surrounding her. And you must trust us. Trust in the power of the cloudlands. We cannot do this without you. You take a deep breath, looking at the two of them, this giant who carries the weight of the heavens on his shoulders, and this fairy whose wings seem to hold the light of 1,000 stars. Together, they are the only chance this world has. And you, somehow, you are a part of it. As you step forward, ready to face whatever comes next, the shadow looms larger, its dark tendrils reaching out like a storm that cannot be stopped. The mist around you thickens, the air heavy with magic and fear. The path ahead is uncertain, but one thing is clear. The choice has already been made. The time to stand and fight is now. The air around you crackles with tension, the mist swirling like an army of ghosts, beckoning you forward into the heart of the unknown. The The shadow is close now, its presence a dark weight that presses against your very soul. But there is no turning back. Not now. The path ahead is uncertain, but it is the only way to stop the darkness from consuming everything. The fairy hovers beside you, her wings fluttering with a soft, ethereal glow. Her gaze is filled with a quiet determination, but there's something else in her eyes, something that hints at an old sorrow, a loss that she's carried with her for far longer than you can imagine. She looks at you, her lips parting as if to say something, but then she simply nods, her wings buzzing softly in the air. "We must reach the heart," she says, her voice steady despite the chaos surrounding you. "It is the only way to stop the shadow." The giant steps forward, his massive form a comforting presence in the face of the oncoming storm. His hand, still wrapped around yours, is warm, a stark contrast to the chill in the air. "Stay close," he rumbles, his voice calm but urgent. "The heart lies deep within the cloudlands, but the guardians will test us. It is not a place for those who are uncertain of their purpose." You nod, steeling yourself. You've come so far, farther than you ever imagined you would. And now, with the fate of this world, the world above, resting in your hands, there's no room for doubt, not anymore. The ground trembles again, the vibrations becoming more intense, more urgent. The shadow is closing in, its tendrils stretching across the sky, blotting out the stars, suffocating the world in darkness. But you won't let fear control you, not when the cloudlands are depending on you. You glance at the fairy, who flutters close, her wings shimmering like a delicate veil of moonlight. She's always been the one to guide you, to remind you of the magic that lies within this world. But there's something different now, a sense of finality. She's not just guiding you through the mists anymore. She's standing beside you, fighting for the future of the world she loves. "Are you ready?" she asks softly, her voice barely above a whisper, but it carries more weight than any spoken word should. Her eyes are filled with a quiet understanding. This is it. This is a moment where everything either falls apart or is mended. Together, you will face whatever comes next. You take a steadying breath. "I'm ready." With the decision made, the three of you step forward into the dense fog that has enveloped the cloudlands. The mist parts as you approach, revealing a vast, towering structure, a temple like no other. Its stone walls glow faintly in the dim light, and the very air around it seems to hum with ancient power, as if the structure itself is alive, watching, waiting. The shadow rumbles behind you, its dark presence lingering like a weight, but you continue forward, determined. As you cross the threshold of the temple, the air becomes thick with magic, an energy that is at once calming and unsettling. The walls pulse with a soft glow, their patterns shifting and changing, as if they are alive, breathing in sync with the world itself. "Now," the giant says, his voice low and steady. "Now, we must face the guardian." The fairy nods, her wings shimmering as she flutters slightly ahead. The heart of the cloudlands lies beyond the guardian's watch, but to pass him, we must prove that we are worthy. The guardians do not bow to fear. They bow only to truth. You take a deep breath, trying to steady your nerves. This is no ordinary guardian. The one who stands watch over the heart is not like the others you've encountered. His power is ancient, woven into the very fabric of this world. As you enter deeper into the temple, the air grows colder, the shadows longer, And then, at the far end of the hall, you see him, the guardian of the heart. He is a being of immense size, even larger than the giant, his body composed of swirling clouds and starlight, his form shifting with every breath, as if he is both here and not here at the same time. His eyes are twin orbs of light, burning with an intensity that seems to pierce through you, seeing deep into your soul. "You have come," the guardian says, his voice a thunderous rumble that echoes through the temple. "But I must ask you, traveler, what is it that you seek in the heart of the Cloudlands?" The question hangs in the air, heavy with meaning. The giant steps forward, his shoulders broad and his expression solemn. "We seek to stop the shadow," he declares, his voice resolute. "The shadow has awakened, and if we do not act now, it will consume this world and all that lies beneath it." The guardian's gaze flickers over the three of you, and for a long moment, he is silent. The air grows thick with tension, and you can feel the weight of his gaze pressing against you, testing you. You take a deep breath, stepping forward. "I seek to protect this world," you say, your voice steady, though your heart races in your chest. "I seek to stop the shadow, not for power, not for glory, but because this world is worth saving." The guardian regards you with an intensity that seems to burn through your very soul. His eyes are piercing, searching for something deeper within you. And then, after what feels like an eternity, he nods slowly. "You speak with truth in your heart," he says, his voice echoing through the temple. And for a moment, the shadows around you seem to recede. The air lightens, as if a heavy burden has been lifted. The heart of the Cloudlands is not a prize to be claimed. It is a force that can either heal or destroy. Only those who are worthy may wield its power. The temple shudders, and the ground beneath you vibrates once more. The shadow outside rages, but the guardian raises one hand, a wave of pure energy emanating from his palm. "You may pass," he declares, "but know this. If you fail, if you falter, the shadow will consume you, and with you, it will consume all." The giant nods, his expression calm, but filled with the weight of the journey ahead. The fairy, her wings flickering with light, looks at you with a quiet smile, a silent promise that you are not alone. With the guardian's blessing, you step forward into the heart of the Cloudlands, where the power to stop the shadow lies. The air hums with magic, ancient and untamed, and you feel the very pulse of the world beneath your feet. The heart is close now, and with it, the final battle. As you move deeper into the temple, the light begins to change. It grows brighter, warmer, as if the heart itself is welcoming you. And somewhere in the distance, you hear a soft, melodic sound, like a song carried on the wind. It is a song of hope, of life, of everything that is worth saving. And just as you reach the chamber where the heart of the Cloudlands lies, the world holds its breath. The shadow has not given up, and the final test begins. As you stand at the threshold of the chamber, the light of the heart before you, the world feels still. The air is thick with magic, filled with the promise of hope and the weight of destiny. The shadow may still lurk outside, but within this sacred space, you are not alone. The journey has been long, and there are still challenges ahead. But for now, you've done what you could. You've made it this far with courage in your heart and the strength of those who walk beside you. With one final deep breath, you close your eyes, allowing the peaceful hum of the Cloudlands to wash over you. And in this moment, you know that you are exactly where you need to be. The path has unfolded before you, and now it's time to rest. Good night and sweet dreams. May the whispers of the fairies and the steady heartbeat of the giants guide you through the night, and may you always find the courage to face whatever challenges await you. Sleep well, and let the magic of the cloudlands keep you safe.